There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Messed up my whole open. Happy Friday, April 12th. Talking a little boxing. Always good to talk boxing every day, especially on a Friday. Got some fights coming up tomorrow, some heavyweight fights. Excited to talk about that, but I'm going to let some people get in here. Hopefully we get a crowd. Decided to do this live at the last minute. I spoke to Tito Mercado, Ernesto Mercado, a little earlier. I'd hoped to do a live interview with him. He couldn't do a live, but I did get an interview with him that I'm going to put up in a few moments. Let some people get in here. I know there's a lot of things to do on a Friday, so Andre, what's up, Andre? Good evening, George. Good evening to you. Mad Chad, let's go. Mad Chad and I were going back and forth earlier about Tito, and he asked me if he was the truth, and I think he is. I do. I think he is. 22 years old. He's a 140-pounder. He's in the best division in the sport, and I respect his story. I respect the way he's getting things done. Hopefully, we'll have him on a live sooner rather than later. But we got Tito Mercado interview. I just interviewed him maybe half an hour ago. So I'm going to play that in a few minutes. In the Granite 617. What's going on in the Granite? It's good to have people in here. Makes me feel good to talk boxing because, listen, I would do these about a year ago every once in a while, and I would have nobody in the live. So I would have to bounce after 10 minutes of talking to myself. But it's a Friday. It's 6:30. I'm learning how to do these lives. I should promote them a little better, but we got Tito Mercado in the house. Well, not quite live, but we got him in the house. So Mad Chad 140 is loaded. I mean, it's loaded. And you know what's criminal? And we talked about it in the interview, but Ernesto Mercado is not ranked at 140. He's not in the top 15. And I think that's criminal, but that's boxing. He also has never been to any conventions, and he also doesn't have a promoter behind him. So it shows you the hypocrisy and the craziness of boxing, that this guy's not ranked, and he's got some good wins under his belt. So I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again. He just had a fight last week, a very anticlimactic fight. It was a third or fourth round knockout over Dana Barrio. It was on Red Out Boxing on DAZN, which was it was a disgraceful performance by Barrio. He literally didn't try, and he just stopped fighting. Zach M, where's Red Out televised? That was on DAZN, so he headlined on DAZN. That's where that fight was, and it was really a shame because it was his first time headlining, and the guy quit. He quit after the third round. I didn't think he was hurt. I don't even think Tito knows exactly why the fight was stopped. But he was stopped. Tito Mercado is 15-0, 14 knockouts, 22 years old. So speaking of Tito Mercado, let's get to this interview. This was about an hour ago. We talked. Let's hear from Tito right now. Welcome to the show, Ernesto Tito Mercado. And I'm not going to call you a prospect. I'm going to call you what you are. You're a contender at 140 pounds, so I just want to say welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. So Tito, you just headlined a show on DAZN. Dana Barrio, who, you know, he's known as a tough fighter, but you won the fight by a TKO. Probably not exactly what you were expecting out of him, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I've seen his previous fights. He goes in there and, he goes in there. He tries to knock your head out, man. He has an awkward style. He'll wait to explode. But I've seen the fight with Ryu. He threw a lot more punches. I even seen him hurt him a couple of times. So I was expecting him to come forward and try to throw some punches to catch me. But unfortunately, we didn't get that from him.
So how do you, when you fight a guy like that who is trying to survive? Because I watched it live and I was wondering, what is this guy waiting for? It was obvious he was just trying to survive, and he had those long arms, so when he tucked his elbows in, he covered most of his body up. How hard is it to fight a guy like that who literally just wants to survive and try and land a bomb to take you out?
I mean, as far as fighting wise, it's real easy, man. But the type of fighter I am, I like to go out there and do more than that needs to be done. I want to excite the fans. So in that sense, it could be a little tricky because I want to, like I said, I want to put on a good show. I could go there from the outside. I mean, the plan originally, the strategy was to keep him in the from long range, not risk too much. Get him from outside shots, and then when he opens up, that's when we're gonna take the shot and knock him out. But he was not giving us that. So I got my corner a little bit mad because I was coming in a little bit too much. I was trying to do something to get him, to gauge up, to throw some punches. So they got a little mad at me because regardless, he's tried to swing, I think a couple times missed, but regardless, me coming in forward like that, I could still get caught with a punch. So, but yeah, man, I guess more or less it's just more for the fans. I guess it's a little hard because I want to give them a good fight.
Yeah. I mean, I spoke with Sean Porter because Sean called the fights and he said, obviously it wasn't your fault, the fight, the way it worked out, but he expects in the next year for you to really make a big move. But getting back to that fight, do you know what happened exactly? I mean, I saw your face when the third round ended. You were walking back to your corner, shaking your head. I couldn't tell if you were frustrated or if you knew you caught him. Were you given any reason why he quit? Was it an injury? Like, what happened?
No, man. I mean, from what I heard, he was just saying I was hitting too hard. So, I mean, from what we see from the fight, obviously he was outmatched. He was just trying to survive the whole time. So, I mean, I just wish you would have put up a fight. At least, if you would have tried to do something within 3 rounds, boom. But man, if you're trying to survive from the beginning, you just it kind of I did shake my head because more or less it upsetted me a lot. I wanted to give that was my first time headlining, and I wanted to give a good show, and I feel like the guy kind of ruined it a little bit for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can only do what you can do, and what you did was you improved to 15-0 with 14 knockouts. That guy had never been stopped, regardless of how it happened. If you make a guy quit, it's a TKO. So that's what you did. I think most people know your story, the fact that you're a free agent. Are you still? I'm assuming you're still a free agent. Are you going to have more fights on DAZN with Red Owl? What's the status with that?
Yeah, I'm still a free agent, and we're kind of like I said this year we're kind of trying to make more of a stand and make my name more popular. So this year we're trying to get out there in major platforms like we did DAZN. So hopefully where we get under DAZN or maybe get on the Amazon Prime. We're just trying to. That's the only good thing about being a free agent, man. I could kind of work my way wherever I want. So hopefully there's some good fights that we can make happen, and I could get a better show.
I really respect that because I know quite a bit about the history. Not many fighters are doing what you are doing, especially a lot of fighters when they reach a certain status, they can say, well, I'm a free agent, but you're doing it from the jump and you're still working your way up, even though I think it's criminal that you're not ranked even in the top 15 at 140, which I think is crazy. But the fact that you're doing this, just you and your dad and your team, I mean, I really think it's incredible, and I give you a lot of credit for it.
No, thank you, man. It's been a journey. Don't get me wrong, and it's been a lot of hard work. But I think in the long run, it's gonna pay off for us. In all types of ways. So I think, and especially, man, I'm able to fight. There's no down the street type. I'm able to just get these opportunities if they do present themselves. So I think it's just a win-win in every situation.
I was watching an interview you did not long ago with Nestor on the Boxing Voice, and I think it was from a few months ago. At that point, you thought you had a fight in February on a Jake Paul card.
Yeah.
Did it just fall apart? What happened with that?
Yeah, that one just fell through. I mean,
Yeah.
and then I had also after that one, I had a fight scheduled with 360. It's just they can't get nobody in the ring with me, so it's kind of the deadlines are kind of obviously they want an opponent by a certain time, and we just can't get those guys in the ring. So it's getting a little harder. I'm not gonna lie to you. These guys don't wanna fight no more. There's not really real fighters no more. And the top guys, I had an offer from I'm not sure if it was mentioned in that interview. I had an offer from Golden Boy to fight Barbosa in January.
Yes. Yep.
That one they turned that one down. So now it's like, damn, not even the top guys want to fight no more either. So it's kind of hard. So yeah, in that sense, it's getting a little difficult.
Well, I think maybe the only good thing in all this is you're only 22. So I know you don't want to waste time because, a fighter's prime, you only have so many years that you can fight. But the good news is you're only 22 and you're making noise and you had your first headliner. And I did want to ask you about that Barbosa fight. It must be frustrating. Is it frustrating? I understand not getting the fights, but the fact that you're not ranked by any of the organizations because it's such a crazy, insane political game. Does that shock you that you're not ranked? It's wrong. It's criminally wrong, but does it surprise you?
Not really. I kind of, I mean, we kind of know the business. We know that it's a lot of it's political, unfortunately, and we know a lot of these promoters have pull with certain organizations, so we know their fighters gonna go above me. So, especially me being a free agent, so it doesn't surprise me. But this year we definitely want to change that. We want to do something to start knocking on the door from these guys now.
But I guess I know a bit about the inside, the politics and stuff. You have to go to these conventions, I guess. It's so weird that I think most sports fans don't understand boxing, that there's so much politics involved. You have to show your face at these conventions, and like you shouldn't have to politic to get ranked. It should be who you fought. And the guy, I mean, you've knocked out Jason Velez and Nakatia and Hank Lundy. I mean, you have real fights, substantial fights under your belt that should have you ranked, and you're not. So I don't know. I mean, it makes me mad as a fan, and I'm not even the one fighting. It's your career, but you're only 22. So I mean, you're on the path, obviously. Like I said, Sean Porter, he really he thinks a lot. He thinks in the next year that you're really going to make some kind of a move. So I imagine you must feel the same.
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm ready. I always believe that you don't need 20, 30 fights to become a world champion. I feel like if you have it, you could go do it. You could do it within, I mean, obviously before that, I see a lot of guys, I mean, including Barbosa, I think he has like 29, 30 fights, still hasn't got a
Yeah.
world title shot. Yeah, man, if sometimes I feel like if you don't think you can pull the trigger within, under 20 fights, then maybe you just don't got it. So that's why I'm kind of pushing for these big fights already, because I know I got it. A lot of these guys fold under the pressure or want to wait, 6, 7 years into their pro career. Man, I want to do it now.
Well, you've already had 2 fights this year in 2024. When do you think your next one is going to be? What's like, if it was up to you, when is your next fight going to be?
Hopefully sometime in July. I think sometime in July.
Yeah.
These two were kind of close back to back, and it was a long training camp, so this one I'm gonna take a little rest, and then July I'll get back on it, and hopefully I'm able to get another 5 of hopefully this year.
Yeah. I know you've talked about this, but I have to ask you about Haney and Garcia. Really, with Garcia, with Ryan, all the crazy stuff that he's done since that first press conference, being high online, and just, I mean, we're not even going to detail every single thing, but he's come off like he's out of his mind. And some people think he's trolling and doing this like to fool people. But what do you make of all the craziness that's been around him?
Honestly, man, I'm not sure what I like. Kind of like everybody else, I'm kind of confused on what he's doing. It's definitely a different strategy. Like if he's using it to sell fights, it's definitely a different way of doing it. He definitely caught the attention of a lot of people. So I mean, if that's what he's doing to sell the fight more, I guess. I mean, kudos to him. I think that's kind of a wrong approach, but
Yeah.
regardless, though, I don't doing all that. It still takes your focus off of the training camp. I mean, you got a big fight ahead of you. I don't know. I don't see him. I don't see him winning this fight. I just don't feel like he's 100% focused on what he has to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If he's doing this to sell fights, which I'm hearing that the ticket sales aren't good in Brooklyn. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I went on the website. It seems like there's a lot of tickets available, but it is the worst way. I think it's one of the weirdest, worst hyped big fights to come along in a long time, because Ryan Garcia, say what you want about him, he's popular and he gets people to watch him fight. And to do this, it's just, I can't really remember a buildup of a fight that went quite like this. But you're picking Haney in this fight.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm picking Haney. I mean, from what we know he's a hard work, dedicated type of fighter. So I feel like he seems like he's 100% focused into the training camp. Garcia looks a little off. So I mean, and if we look at the track records too, I mean, Haney, every time he fought a good fighter, regardless controversial with Lomachenko or not, he still won.
Right.
Ryan, when he fought a good fighter, he doesn't pull through.
I know you fought Keyshawn Davis. You have a history with him in the amateurs. Do you have a history, because you're younger than all these guys, but do you have a history with anyone else, any of the names that people recognize?
So I never actually got in the ring with Keyshawn. We just had that controversy where I was trying to get in the ring with him.
That's right.
So unfortunately, I never got to share the ring with him. But Nah, I mean, as far as controversies from the amateurs or stuff like that, it's really just him, And it's not so much with him either. That's the worst part. It's more with USA Boxing, but since he's the one that took the place of me, somebody got to pay for it. So, and he unfortunately he's the only one boxing, so he gotta take the blame.
Well, I mean, right now, technically, you guys are in different weight classes, but even if you were in the same weight class, I don't see Top Rank rushing to get him in the ring with you. And I guess that's what you were talking about. It's frustrating because you're not aligned with a promoter, so they can't even keep it in house to make a big fight. Which again, it's one of the problems of boxing. But you're in what I think what most people believe is the best division in the sport. Who is your top guy at 140 if you were doing your own ranking?
Um, I would probably say just Devin, just because he's the only one that hasn't been beaten yet. All the other guys have a loss. All the world champions literally have a loss. So, I mean, technically, if a guy has never been beat, there's no blueprint to technically beat him. I mean, you got to give it to the guy, right? So I think Devin Haney for sure. He seems like the most dedicated. Teofimo, he has too many off nights for me.
Mm.
Sometimes he talks a little crazy like Ryan. Um, you got Sabril Matias, tough guy, but he just comes forward. Not really, no real skill ability. I feel like that's a perfect fight for me. What's gonna call it? Fight wise, I think he's just perfect for me. He fits my style. You got Isaac Cruz,
Hmm.
also limited in skill ability. He's just gonna come forward. Great fight. Devin Haney, good boxer, but I don't know. I feel like he's missing something. But out of all of them, I think he's probably the best one.
What did you make about Pitbull? Because I want to talk a little bit about 140 before I let you go, because since that's your weight class. The Pitbull Rolly fight, I think that went the way a lot of people thought it was going to go based on Rolly's track record. Like you talked about record. He lost his biggest fight against Tank and may have lost that fight against Barroso until Tony Weeks bailed him out.
Yeah.
So did the Pitbull Rolly fight go the way you thought it would?
Yeah, it did. I thought maybe Rolly would be able to maybe catch him too in the
I did
process.
too.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought he had a chance of catching him. And don't get me. There was times where he looked good. Moving around. Well after he got clipped, he looked good. He looked like he was kind of stopping the momentum of Cruz a little bit, which kind of concerns me for Cruz because once you get, I mean, Rolly's not really known for a good boxer. So what happens when he fights a good boxer? I think Cruz is gonna run into a lot of problems, but. No, yeah, it did go the way I expected to. Not in the first round though, but yeah, I expected
Yeah.
Rolly to hit him with a good shot, but yeah, no, I mean, it went the way it's supposed to. Cruz was always gonna win that fight.
I'm with you. Like Cruz is not a big guy. And I thought, well, he's moving up in weight to Rolly's weight class. And I was like you. I thought, if Rolly can catch him, maybe Cruz has never really been hurt. I've never really seen him hurt. But Rolly did catch him with shots,
Yeah,
but he had no effect on him.
right. And I think I don't know. Like I said, man, I just don't think Rolly's a good ball. I don't think he really can pinpoint shots or can create openings. I didn't see no feints from him.
Yeah.
But I do believe that Cruz he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but also limited skill. But I feel like if I fought him, I feel like I could create some openings and maybe put him out too because he's not the biggest defensive guy.
Right. Yeah, he does get hit, but he's showing a good chin. You brought up Subra Matias. He's a guy that complains about nobody wants to fight me. Nobody wants to fight me. So maybe at some point, I don't know when, maybe that's a fight because you said that's the fight you think would be the best style wise for you.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me, they're all perfect, but I'm saying specifically him because everybody keeps saying he's the boogeyman. Boom.
Yeah.
So I mean, somebody got to beat him. I mean, so I don't know what people are so scared. I don't know if it's how tough he is. I don't know what people. Maybe just because he's not marketable. Maybe that's why no one wants to fight him either. And I know they're. I mean, according to some things I saw, they're lowballing people to fight him. Less than six figures. So maybe that could be a reason too. I mean, if you're a world champion, man, you got to offer a little bit more than that too. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, to be a boogeyman, I don't see nothing scary about him.
Um, where do you see? I mean, you're 15-0 right now, 14 knockouts. But do you have your own kind of timetable, like 2025 or 26, you want to have a shot at the belt, or is it sooner? Or are you guys just taking this one fight at a time and you see where your career goes?
I mean, boxing is always tricky, man. You could always get the opportunity to like I said, it's, whether politics or you, there's some guys that don't even deserve a title shot. They'd be getting them. So
Yes, yes.
in my case, I feel like I do deserve it. Obviously, do I think I'm gonna get it right away? No, because I'm a free agent. It's still high risk. It makes no sense. So, but hopefully, man, sometime next year I'm able to get a title shot. That's the goal. If sooner, definitely I'll take it. And I think I'm ready, man. I think I could be any of these guys right now.
Are you and I'm sorry if I asked this before and you answered it, but are you looking to sign with someone? Do you want to stay a free agent? I mean, I imagine at some point you might have to do like a 2-fight deal with someone to get a title shot. I hope it doesn't come to that. But are you looking to sign with someone, or are you saying this is how I'm rolling? I'm a free agent. This is how I'm going to do it.
I mean, as of now, fight by fight, I want to stay a free agent, of course, but sometimes, for a title shot, I may have to do that. We've seen Devin Haney do it for the Cambosos fight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider myself tied down if I have to do a 2 or 3 fight deal. After that, I'm still a free agent. It's not like a multi-year type of thing. So if that's what has to be done to get a title shot, I think that's the only way. I mean, that seems kind of worth it in a way. You get the title shot after that, you're champion. You kind of still make your own rules after that.
Yeah. Well, you just headlined your first main event, and unfortunately, with the way it happened, the way Barrio just quit. I mean, I don't know. He quit. He stopped fighting, and everyone was shocked. But when that fight was over, when you get back to the locker room, is it what were your feelings? Because I was bummed for you watching it, but what were your feelings when you got back to the locker room when the excitement kind of dies down?
To be honest, man, even after the fight, and I was not. I mean, I was glad that I was able to get some type of WBA belt, still some type of ranking, but yeah, man, I wasn't really excited. I was real disappointed. Like I said, I wanted to put on a good show. I even did more than I was supposed to. My corner, I was trying to engage the fight through. I did as much as I could to get it happening, but yeah, man, I was just real disappointed, to be honest with you. I expected a lot more from him, a lot more out of the performance, and yeah, but like I said, hopefully, I know a lot of people. I've seen articles and stuff. They've seen it, that I was trying to engage and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't really take too much out of it, but hopefully the next fight I'm able to get somebody that's willing to go there and engage with me.
So that fight was a week ago. We're talking on a Friday, so it was a week ago. When the fight was over, what do you normally do post fight? Because everyone sees what happens with a fighter training before a fight, but they don't see what happens after. Did you go away for a few days? Did you, I know you're very active, but that fight was on a Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, did you allow yourself to relax a little? Did you go anywhere, or was it right back into training mode?
Yeah, I mean, we're still in Texas for I think like a day or two after that. We're just relaxing, just eating like a team, and then yeah, man. I mean, usually sometimes I take trips after that. Sometimes I don't. For this instance, I didn't take no trip. We're just kind of relaxing, and I want to get back in the gym already. Like the last 2 fights I had, the first one ended in the second round. This one, third round. I haven't really been getting too much work. I think I need to get back in the gym and work on for the next fight already.
Yeah. Well, you're 5'10". I mean, you're a big 140-pounder. You're only 22. Do you think your body's going to let you stay at this weight long enough to become a champion, or do you think you're going to have to move up sooner rather than later?
No, for sure. I think I have enough time to be champion at 140. Um, Hopefully do a couple of defenses. If not, worst case, I know I could win the world championship and then move up to 47. But for sure, I know my first title will be at 40.
There's just so many good fights to make at
Yeah.
140 pounds. I mean, you're in the best division. There's 4 champions right now. So I'm hoping that you get a shot. But first of all, you have to get ranked. So at some point, these organizations have to actually, maybe they don't watch you fight. I don't know. I'm trying to, like, when I try to explain boxing to my friends that don't know boxing, you sound stupid because they say, what do you mean? What do you mean he's not ranked and he's beat all these good guys? Well, I tell them it's politics. What are you talking about? People don't get it. What a dirty sport it is. But listen, I said it like 3 times already. I think it's criminal, man, that you're not ranked and you're not a prospect. You're a contender. And I can't wait to see you fight again. And I wish Barboza would have taken that fight.
Yeah, me too. I think that was I think Barbosa's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but I think I
Yes.
definitely beat him. I think I I mean, don't like I said, no disrespect to him, but I think I knock him out as well. He's a good fighter, but too many fights doesn't pull. I don't know. I just see myself beating him.
Well, listen, I appreciate. Will you have any big plans coming up? Like, I know you said you want to get back to the gym, but it's only April. Like, you're not gonna allow yourself to go away for a week and relax. You're headed right back to the gym.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm right back in the gym. You know, I might go do some little things. Golf. I like to golf. I like to do certain things, but yeah, man, I'm real hungry in the sport. I like to really get back in the gym. I know a lot of these guys start clubbing and start drinking, and I think that's gonna be another separating factor between me and these world champions. A lot of these guys like to they mess around a little bit too much on their off time or during training, and I'm
Yeah.
always 100% focused. So, like I said, man, every little thing counts in boxing.
Well, look at Ryan Garcia, what he was doing in between press conferences. So, you said you play golf. I don't play golf, but I play Top Golf. Have you ever played Top Golf?
Yeah, Top Golf, like at the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been to Top Golf once or twice. They be taking
Yeah.
my money. I ain't gonna lie to you. They be texting
Top,
me.
Top Golf is a lot of fun. Well, listen, you're a contender. You're a golfer, man. I can't wait to see you get a shot. Before we go, just tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can follow me on all social medias at Real Tito Mercado.
Real Tito, and plus you got that nickname, man, Tito. Because when I think of Tito as a boxer, of course you think of Tito Trinidad.
Right.
But Tito, that's a lot to live up to. And so far, 15-0, 14 knockouts. Man, you're doing it. I can't wait to see you fight again.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, Ernesto Mercado, go enjoy some time off. It's a Friday, so knowing you'll probably be back in the gym on Monday. But I appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking to you again, brother.
Likewise. Thank you, man.
Man, what a likable guy. What a likable guy Tito Mercado is. And I'm going to get to some of these comments too. I appreciate everyone who's in here. Ernesto's doing something that isn't done very often, being a free agent, not having a promoter. Devin Haney is doing it now. But most fighters don't. Sugar Ray Leonard did it, but Sugar Ray Leonard, this is going back to 1976. He was an Olympic gold medalist. So he had some cachet behind him. He had some power behind him. The fact that Ernesto Mercado, Tito Mercado, with no Olympic gold medals, no world championships in the amateurs, he's doing this as a pro with the free agent route. He's got my respect, and I think he's a hell of a fighter. In the granite, stay training even without fights, retire young. Rest in peace, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. A lot of fights before he got a shot. Just keep winning. That's why you need problem solvers. Indeed. Of course, it's a different era. I mean, Marvelous Marvin Hagler lost several fights in Philly before he even got a shot. I mean, his first title shot was a draw with Vito Antuofermo. So it is a different game now. Use that mic, Tito. And Ashley, I see you in here. Thank you. That was a taped interview, but it was today. I've got the same clothes on. I don't wear the same clothes every day. So, but I posed this question when we were talking about the Haney Garcia fight. I can't remember a worse buildup for a fight. And I went on the website for tickets, and it seems like there's a lot of tickets to be had. And this fight's only a week away. So I cannot remember a worse build. Sean Porter did say he thinks that Ryan Garcia, that this was calculated, and he has done this on purpose. I think if that's the truth, it's despicable by him, and it makes me root against him even more. My guy Tito, what's good, champ? I will pass that on. One of the worst builds I've ever seen, indeed. And Ashley, I appreciate you being here. You know your boxing. This is the worst. I really can't think of a build for a big fight, and this isn't a mega fight, but it's a big fight because Ryan Garcia has 10 million followers on social media, so it's a big fight. I want Tito to get Brandon Leaton. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. It's crazy. I'm looking at the rankings right now at 140, and the fact that he's not ranked. When Tito and I were done with the interview, I told him that about a month before Thurman announced his fight with Fundora, I was looking at the rankings, and we're talking I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, Thurman was still ranked in the top 10 by one of the organizations, which was insane. When the Fundora fight came around, he was taken out. But sometimes you look at these rankings and the political game, it's just stupid. I've never been to one of these boxing organization conventions, but it is what it is, and it's terrible. And the Granite talking about him, a lot want the fame. Legacy is everything. I knew Tank was going to hurt him. So, Mad Chad, Raleigh versus Ryan, end of year, Battle of the Clowns. I would like to see that fight, Mad Chad. I would like to see that fight. Rolly, it's funny. I really thought Rolly had a shot against Pitbull. I couldn't believe that he was such a huge underdog. I thought Pitbull's moving up. Rolly's got some power, and he landed, but he just did nothing. He did nothing. Ken Sims, that's a good fight too. That's a good fight too. Haney pillow hands, but you know what? There's something to this pillow hands thing. Like Paulie Malignaggi, I always say, for the most part, Paulie doesn't have a lot of he didn't have a lot of knockouts, but the only guy to really just run over him was Sean Porter, who was a very physical fighter. Even Miguel Cotto in his prime, he didn't run over Paulie. So some guys don't get a lot of knockouts, but they do get respect in the ring, and I think Haney is one of those guys. All right, Ashley, I'm glad you're still here. I'm trying to catch up. Cruz versus Lemos midget match. Well, hey, come on, Zach. Midgets? Come on. Little people. You don't say midget. Little people. But that's a good fight. That's a good fight. That is, you are a good matchmaker. Cruz was hurt with that uppercut from Davis. Yeah, I mean, Cruz has a good chin, and that Davis fight, what I remember most about that is at some point Davis tried to hit him with an uppercut and it was blocked, and he hurt his hand. So he very much became the boxer in that fight. Lopez beats Haney. I don't know. Teofimo, how do you judge this guy? I mean, I'm a big Teo fan. I'm a big Haney fan. But Teofimo is like so up and down. You just never know. You just never know what you're going to get with him. I mean, he seems too inconsistent for me. And Haney is consistent. He never really has an off night. I thought he beat Lomachenko. I know a lot of people don't, but I thought he won that fight. He doesn't seem to have off nights. He's young. He's learning. Look what he did in his first fight at 140 against Prograis. He dominated him. I mean, absolutely dominated him. Tito looks to be a real smart kid. He does. Excuse me. He does. He looks like, I mean, he is a smart kid. He's very likable. He's a good-looking kid, and it's just, you know, he has chosen the long route, but he's only 22. So Ashley, I like the idea of him being a free agent. People get favorites, though, and I want to see Tito versus bigger names. Yes, indeed. Well, you know, if he keeps winning these fights, these bogus, corrupt boxing organizations have to rank him. They have to rank him. And he said that he was offered a Barboza fight, and Barboza turned it down. So that says something. That says that these guys, they fear him because it's that, you know, low risk or low reward, high risk, low reward. 140 is stacked. Mad Chad, come on, man. Should sign with Snack. Come on. Matchroom should sign. Well, we'll see. He says he wants to be a free agent. So I don't know if that's going to be the case. Still a win. He wasn't ready to go deep. Tito, keep training hard. stay training, even on vacation, run every other day. He seems like that type. He's 22. He's very dedicated to his craft. Mad Chad, Ryan going to get busted up by Haney. I think so. I'll be honest. If it turns out that Ryan Garcia has been trolling people by using social media the way he has, it's almost criminal. I mean, if you remember, one of his posts made it led you to believe that his phone was hacked. His account was hacked because they talked about Satan and said that Ryan was dead and they'd never find the body. So to go to that length to troll, I think it's criminal. And if it's not criminal, what I stand by is I don't think he is ready emotionally for a fight, but he's got a team behind him that wants to get paid, minus Derek James. He's got a team behind him that wants to get paid, and they want to get him to the finish line because fighters don't get paid until they fight. They don't get paid before they fight. It's different. They don't have a contract where they get money every month or every week. He won't get his paycheck until after that fight is over. So too many chiefs in the tribe. Too many, yeah. And he's a good dude. I mean, I was trying to get an interview with him before his fight. It didn't happen, but his people said he was available after the fight, and I kind of like to talk to people after they fight because they're a little more open with things. When you're training for a fight, I've interviewed hundreds of fighters before a fight. They all say the same thing. They're in the best shape of their life. They're very guarded with what they say, but when the fight's over, the guard is let down. They're a little more open. They're a little more relaxed. So I think interviewing fighters after they fight is probably the best way to go. Matt Chad, George Buildup. Yeah, it really is. I just, can anyone fighting tempo? Is Ryan Garcia trolling when he makes crossing his feet and training videos with Derek James in the background looking all disappointed? Surely it's a work, right? He has fundamental flaws. He has not changed them. What he's got is speed and power. He does. He does. You can't deny that. But he does have those flaws. And no one, Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goosen, they have not been able to fix them. Derek James, we'll see. And I think the world of Derek James. I think he's a great trainer. I don't know. I don't know if Ryan is receptive to everything that he's trying to be taught. But honestly, think about, is there a worse build-up to a big fight than this? Is there anything on par or anything close to this? Because this is just terrible. It's terrible. And I don't know how many buys they're going to get. We're talking Hagler here in the granite. He went back, beat those Philly guys, and the politician here in Texas chooses to threaten that. Yes, that's true. Hagler beat Anafermo. He did. Marvin avenged those losses he had coming up, and he did have a politician behind him. And I also believe that he beat Anafermo that first fight. I think Mills Lane, I believe he was the ref. I think he thought that Hagler won too. So it's a shame. It is what it is. Ward, that's Marvin Hagler. Duran, Mugabe, Leonard Hagler, and Sugar Ray Robinson, two goats of middleweights. Indeed. In the granite, Hagler beat everyone who fought except for two Philly fighters. He went back and beat them. Amazing career. Amazing career. Tech Dumb Dad. You know what? Tech Dumb Dad, I'm not going to give your name away because I'm sure you don't want me to, but you've been a big help with me. And it's going great. It's okay that you're late. I'm glad you're here. Listen, you got a family. You're cooking some dinner. That's how it is. That's how it is. And Tito does look good. Tito is really, he's one of my favorite fighters. Boxing Scene had him as a prospect of the year. And when I played the interview, I introduced him as a contender. To me, he's no longer a prospect. He's a contender, regardless of what the bogus BS organizations, they don't have him rated. I'm looking at them right now. So, I mean, the number 15 Through all four organizations, Albert Puello, never heard of him. Alex Vargas, never heard of him. Steve Claggett, are you kidding me? That's the guy that Teofimo's fighting. That's a joke. And Daishi Nagata. So you're telling me that those organizations think those guys are better than Tito Mercado, whatever. It's a joke. In the granted, I respect Haney. I respect all fighters. I'd say to his face, you don't hit hard, but he's a high IQ boxer. Cruz is an animal. Tank doesn't waste punches. If Lopez mental is good, he would hurt Haney. Well, that's the thing. If his mental is good. You know what I loved? The way Tito was. Tito was talking during that interview, and he made it known that he would beat all those guys. In his mind, Matias is the easiest to him. And a lot of fighters, Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri, they feel the same way. They feel that Matias is flawed. He has no defense. But I say this guy brings it. He's going to make you beat him. He's going to make you beat him because he's going to be in your face with power. So he is his style is one that you just want to see fight. Bingo. Ryan has problems. Reminds me a little bit of the Ottoman Call thing weeks before the fight where he broke down the ring. See, I've talked about this, Jay. I've talked about this. I could see, and you bring up a good historical point. Lennox Lewis and Oliver McCall had a rematch. The first fight, Oliver McCall knocked out Lennox Lewis. Huge upset, huge upset. Years later, they had a rematch. And Oliver McCall had all sorts of personal problems in the ring. And if you go on YouTube and you watch that fight, Lennox Lewis, Oliver McCall too. Oliver McCall was on HBO. He had a breakdown during the fight. He literally had a breakdown. He was in the ring with Lennox Lewis. 250-pound Lennox Lewis, 6'5". He had his hands down. And he was just inviting Lennox to punch him, and they stopped the fight. He was crying in the ring. One of the most bizarre nights of the sport. Ryan is already quitting a fight. This is not me, the civilian George, saying he quit. Fighters are saying that he quit against Tank. He quit in the ring, and that's the worst thing you can be called as a fighter, a quitter. He quit. So he's either going to quit or he's going to break down. He's going to try and get lucky. I don't think he'll have any luck. I don't like inconsistency. Lopez beat the Matrix. He did. He did. And then he lost to Kambosos, which I still can't believe he lost that fight. I mean, I think he legit lost, but I still can't believe that he lost it. That's right. You have to train year round. Tech Dumb Dad. Haney reminds me of Sugar Ray Leonard a little. Just hasn't shown that dog in him yet like Sugar Ray Leonard did. Sugar Ray Leonard would go get dudes. Listen, you don't have to tell me. Right over here, there's a poster on my wall. It's the Sports Illustrated cover when Sugar Ray Leonard beat Wilfred Benitez. When I was a kid, I had two posters on my wall, Sugar Ray and Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Sugar Ray was a dog. Sugar Ray could do it all. As great as his career was, he had the eye issues, the retina issues, and the retirements. And I would have loved to have seen how it would have worked out had those things not happened. But Sugar Ray is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Match. I'm still trying to catch up to these comments. And make sure you subscribe, like the show, subscribe. I'm trying to get the subscribers up. I'm just a guy that doesn't know anything about social media. I really don't, but I do love to talk about boxing. And as long as people are in here, I'm going to talk. Usyk going to turn Fury into a bloody mess and box his ears off. Mad Chad, I agree. You can see my pick if you're on my channel. Once a week, I'm going to try and do a one round with George where it's what I used to do. 3 minutes. We just talk boxing. It's fast paced with music. I think Usyk is going to win. And I said that in my show, but I am terrible when it comes to picking fighters because I picked Oscar De La Hoya to beat Manny Pacquiao, but it is what it is. There's the counter. Usyk is an elite boxer, but he's a middleweight turned cruiserweight. Well, I mean, let's come on. In the granted, he is a heavyweight. He beat Joshua twice. So, and Joshua is one of the modern day big Goliaths in the sport, and Usyk beat him twice. So, he's a heavyweight. He is a heavyweight. Mateus is a stationary target there to get hit, but that's my point. I'm not arguing when I speak with Chris Algieri and he tells me that, I'm not going to argue that. But you have to take his power. You have to take his power. Subscribe to the show, like the show. All right, I'm trying to catch up. I'm not going one by one. Let's see. In the granite, yes, but Usyk will get leaned on. Fury going to make a statement. Usyk is elite, but not with say. You know what? That's another point that people make. They say that Fury, he fights down to the level of his competition and up to the level of his competition. I think he's abused his body. I know they're saying he's lean, he's mean. I don't think Fury's the greatest heavyweight of all time. I think Usyk is going to beat him. I really do. I think Fury's aging. I think he's abused his body. And I think that Usyk's going to beat him. And that's my point right there. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. That is exactly my point. Still can't believe all those gyms passed on Manny until he met Freddie Roach. Mind-blowing how many. I was very lucky. I got to tell that story early. I did a shoot with Manny and Freddie. I mean, it was early. They hadn't fought any. I think he had fought Marquez, but he hadn't fought anyone else. And Freddie told that story about how Manny walked into the gym. And it was just, as soon as he hit the mitts, it was that was it. And that's something I love. The stories in the sport are amazing. And the Freddie Roach, Manny Pacquiao story is an amazing one. It's an amazing one. Watch Tyson versus Ruddock 2 fight, see how tough Tyson was. Oh, I didn't even realize we were talking Tyson. That you can't deny his toughness. I'm a Tyson guy because you can see over here, right there, that's Tyson knocking out Spinks, and right above it, which you can't see, but that's Tyson knocking out Berbick. I grew up with Tyson, so he's only a little older than I am. I grew up on him, and I think he's an underrated fighter. Before he lost to Douglas, the run that he had at such a young age. Look at the Tony Tucker fight. Tony Tucker was a damn good fighter, 6'5". He was 6'5", like these fighters today. And there were points in that fight where Tyson was outboxing him. But the facts are, like Teddy says, in his toughest fights, he did not win them. So Freddie is a national treasure. And I'm going to have to post a feature I did on Freddie from, this is like 15 years ago. The one I was talking about with Manny, it was where he first really talked about his Parkinson's. Freddie's a good dude. I've been in his gym a million times, and I love the people in the gym. Usyk is roughly the same dimensions as Muhammad Ali, the greatest heavyweight of all time. He's a true heavyweight fighting in the age of that is indeed true. I'm going to drop a link in here because I'm going to end this soon. I watched Mike's first 20 fight. Well, you know what? Let's be honest. If you watch his first 20 fights, that's only like half an hour. So you didn't have to invest much time in watching his first 20 fights. I promise 5 to 7 rounds. You'll be saying, granted, all right. Well, listen, I don't really try to pick fights, but I never say that I'm good at picking fights. There you go. It only took an hour. So there you go. Now I'm all caught up. But Ernesto Tito Mercado is definitely a prospect. He's a contender at 140, and hopefully he gets a shot. Hopefully he gets ranked. But I'm looking forward to the heavyweight fights tomorrow. Jared Anderson against Ryan Murphy. So I was looking up the odds, and what's crazy is Ryan Garcia is a bigger underdog than Murphy is against Anderson, which I think is nuts. And that just goes to show you how crazy Ryan Garcia's behavior has been. In the granite, Fury wins in 5 rounds. That reality show, and you can't be half in, half out. Usyk got a break last fight, body shot. True. Lucky he got that done. All right, so you're picking Fury by a knockout. That's interesting. We will see. Hopefully the fight happens. We've only got a month before the fight happens. That is good matchmaking. Ajagba just I don't know how I feel about him. I mean, he lost his biggest fight. Anderson's head, that's the big question. That's the big question about Jared Anderson. He's got the talent, although he's got some deficiencies defensively that he has to work on, but he's young. Oh, man. People said Tyson folded when he met resistance. Tyson beat Douglas. That count was 20 seconds. Well, I mean, look, watch that. And I was the biggest Tyson fan, especially back then. And you look at Douglas, and he was ready to get up whenever he was watching the refs count. So it might have been 20 seconds, but Douglas could have gotten up whenever he wanted. He pounded his glove on the canvas. He was ready to get up whenever he had to. So I'm not saying it's wrong, but Tyson also had a long count. It was like 30 seconds, and they let him get up and put the mouthpiece in, all sorts of crazy ways. But we got Mad Chad. I'm bringing Mad Chad, the legend, in the house. Mad Chad, what's going on, man?
There we go, George, the legend. How we doing? Great interview. I hope all is well with you, George, right? I mean, Tito, Ernesto Tito Mercado. I mean, he not the gold medalist, but he was with it like, I did a little looking on him. The kid's had a lot of amateur background. He's been boxing for a minute. And like you say, I mean, he's knocked out some names there, just fucking obliterated them. And young kid, seems like he's got his head on straight. He seems like he's got that dad, kicking around with him there, keep the head on straight. Like the free agent attitude. I like the kid a lot. That's some great stuff, bringing everybody's attention to a kid like that, just had off a really, hey, he can only do what he can do. Like you say, the kid didn't want to fight him. But George, great shit. Good shooting the show with you, man. You're touching on all kinds of great subjects here, great topics. George Jakovic.
Well, but Tito, Tito was good enough to come on. But it's the comments. I just love to, Chad. You know how it is. We've talked a lot of boxing, and when people are bringing up topics, that's what we like to do. And Tito, I love the fact that he's a free agent, because that's the tough way, man.
Oh yeah, that's tough. It's tough. It's tough to where he's at. What he's been through already at his age. I mean, he's there for a reason, and he's a real deal. This kid, like you say, he's a contender. This kid's legit. Barbosa's a top 10. Look at those rankings. They don't make sense. We all know it's just bullshit, political. Who knows who's doing drinking martinis, all that, George. But let your fist do the talking, like Hagler did. You know what I mean? And the rest will fall in place. The kid wants to stay busy. I love the attitude. And best wishes to this kid. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of him. I love the attitude. He seems real humble. Like I say, just real mature for his age. I mean, that kid should still be in college, George. And bright future there. Bright future. But like you say,
that's the thing. At least he's got time on his side. He's a free agent. He's 22. He's not 36. He's not 37. He's only 22 years old.
Better, and he's still really, really good. He's getting better. Like he's getting better, George. This kid's going to be a force.
Well, you saw what I asked him. It's you've talked to a lot of fighters. I've talked to a lot of fighters. Fighters say when you're a world-class fighter, if a world-class fighter decides to survive, it's hard to knock them out. You can beat them, but now I'm not saying that guy Barrio was a world-class fighter, but he clearly was trying to survive. I didn't look at punch stats, but he threw maybe 4 or 5 punches around. I don't know what his strategy was. It wasn't a rope-a-dope strategy. And I still, I watched that fight last Friday, and I asked Tito, I still don't know why he stopped fighting. I don't remember if they said on the telecast if he was injured. He just literally quit. I mean, he's a guy that shouldn't get paid. And it's tough. It sucks for Tito, because it's his first time headlining, and he wanted to put on a good show. And you could tell You could tell,
There
Matt
he
Chad, he
is,
felt
and he
bad.
doesn't even
He
get to
felt bad about
showcase
how it
it.
ended.
And yeah, he wanted to go out there with a bang and let everybody know, here, I'm the man, and here. But we didn't get an opportunity to do it. Not on him. But big shout out to you, George. Everybody hit the like button and subscribe last night, George. I think it was yesterday. I guess one continuous day here, but the James Toney, that when you were showing those clips, just talking about how bad of a SOB that Toney was. I mean, then to sit there, I haven't. Last time I talked about McAfoley, I was with Bobby Russo there, and Mac, a local legend. He used to date one of the Harrigan sisters, Hard Rock Harrigan. One of the Harrigans had a knockout amateur record. I think they knocked the kid out in 6 seconds. Johnny Hard Rock Harrigan. The bell rang, bam. They used to box under the Griffin Club over in South Portland. But McAfoley, legend. He was a really decent boxer. He just couldn't pull his punch. And in sparring, he was really good and all that. But the lights would be on for whatever reason. He couldn't let go of the fucking punch. He was a talented boxer, hell of a trainer. He knew everybody out there in Vegas. And to see McAfoley on one of your shows, George, because I hit the bell. I'm a big George Jakovich fan, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was some great shit yesterday. Great shit with Tito today, talking about some Fury Usyk, Haney Garcia, just great shit with you, George. You're the man. Much respect, George.
I appreciate you, and I saw what you said about McAfoley, and the reason why I did that was James Toney posted that on his social media. He had a clip of that feature, and I'm watching, and I said, "Oh shit, I did that. I did that feature." So I talked to McAfoley and all those guys, and I've been to the wild card a lot. And McAfoley was helping to train James at the time, and he was. I mean, this is back in 2006. So I wish. My regret is that I should have taken pictures of every single shoot I went on. But Mac,
that's one of my regrets too, George. I don't get no pictures, no autographs, nothing. I had some signed things, but still, it's the memories and all that. I think a lot of times too, George. I think a lot of times they can almost be more themselves when there ain't that camera there, where there ain't the pen. They just kind of let not their guard down, because they're very, a lot of these guys don't. A lot of them love it. A lot of them want that camera. Yeah. Really, you don't want a fucking picture. I want flashing lights.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, George. But yeah, great shit over here, George. Real quick, I never tell anybody what to do over here. You know what I mean, George? When you're doing your shows, right? When you're doing the description of your show, underneath, throw some hashtags. Tito Mercado, you know what I mean? Hashtag boxing.
I appreciate you saying that. It just kind of
kicks into the algorithm. It only takes 20 seconds to do boxing, whatever you want to talk about. A couple of hashtags might kick in that. So you get a lot of people should be hearing Tito.
You're right. You're 1,000% right. And I didn't do that. And I'm still learning. And you're right. Hashtag, it takes 10 seconds to do it.
That's all I'm saying. Simple to do, and it might not help
at all, but
I think it does help, George, a little bit. For what it's worth, everybody's hashtagging this, hashtagging that. I mean,
right.
Jakovic. I mean, you know what I mean? Go with it, George, rocking and rolling though. But I don't think this build-up is ridiculous. I've never heard a fighter talk like this Ryan kid. He seems like a train wreck. I wouldn't be surprised to see in all of them a call him just start crying in between rounds, and I just don't know. And I think Haney just absolutely obliterates him. I know they're 3-3 in the amateurs, but yesterday's home runs don't win today's ball games. They're trending in opposite directions.
I'm with you. I'm with you 1,000%. I've never seen a buildup like this, and if people are starting to say that, oh, Ryan did this on purpose, if he's doing this on purpose, I know you can't lock him up, but I feel like he should be locked up, because what he did on his social media, he made it seem like he was hacked. He talked about, Satan, he made it seem like Satan worshipers.
I mentioned there must have been some, cops investigating him, someone talking to him, authorities, like, kid, if you talk what this kid was talking about, he's a full-grown man here. Let's remember, this is a man.
Right.
He's a young man, but he's a man. He was talking about some really criminal activity going on. And, if I was to mention that, someone would come visit me and say, yes, Matt Chad, we got to talk to you about that. What did you say happened? They held you down. And,
exactly.
So I don't know, but this kid's running through some shit. He's talking about spitting names out there, just just real bizarre. I've never seen nothing like this, almost even with rock and roll bands. I know the Beach Boy dude, you know, these rock stars go a little bit kooky every now and then, but this Ryan Garcia next level with those words, George, I haven't heard nothing like it going back to the biblical, you know, just really, who knows where it's going to end, right, George? Because I've never seen nothing like it.
No, you really can't compare it to anything because it has not helped ticket sales. I don't think it's helping buys, although the fight hasn't happened. I just don't see where the benefit is unless I think Sean Porter is trying to say he's. I saw him on a show and he's making it seem like Ryan Garcia just wants everyone. He wants to be such a big underdog where there's no pressure on him. I don't think that's the play, but some people actually believe it. I think my personal opinion, without being in his camp, I think he's out of his mind. I don't think he should be fighting. I think the people around him are scumbags and they just want to get paid. They want to get him to the finish line, which is April 20th. So they get paid, they all get paid, and they can go home. This has been a horrible look for him, a horrible look for boxing, a horrible look for a big fight. But they still have to fight the fight. And, you know, boxing, anything can happen. But I expect, like you, I expect Devin Haney to dominate that night. But we'll see.
Right, time will tell. You know, keep the fingers crossed. I'm still holding my breath with Fury. I mean, I get it with, you know, who knows if he just please until the ring walk, let's just go. But, you know, Beterbiev Bivol is another one we get to look forward to. That's later, in the summer, I believe. But that's another 50-50 fight. Not that the odds mean anything, but you like to see a 50-50 fight. Those are usually the best. Yes, you get your rare ones. But Beterbiev Bivol, what a fight that's going to be, George. I mean, honestly.
Speaking of that, I reached out to Iceman Scully, which
you know, right. Yes.
He's gonna. I'm talking to him on Monday. He's already in camp because Beterbiev is already training. Obviously, that fight's, you know, he trains like a maniac. So I'm going to be talking to him on Monday. I can't wait for that fight, Mad Chad. June 1st, we're gonna have an undisputed light heavyweight champion. I can't wait for that fight.
It's everything. It's peanut butter and jelly with stylistic matchup. You know, you got the Russian, you got one, I think, it's a Canadian, whatever. You got a lot of history there. You got the older. I mean, just what a great fight. Two of the top 5, I think, in the world, pound for pound. You know, yes, they're both well-decorated amateurs, and by God, can they both fight? And it's about time to see it, you know, and we get to see it. We get to the undisputed at heavyweight, sort of like the Eclipse, George, seeing Fury Usyk. That happens, once every 25 years? What are the Eclipse, once every 40 or something? I don't know, but
exactly.
You know, we're getting to see some rare shit here.
Well, you're right. I mean, you know, this is a good trivia question. If the fights happen come June 2nd, unless there's draws, I know there's a lot of particulars, but if the fights happen and we have winners on June 2nd, we'll have an undisputed heavyweight champion and an undisputed light heavyweight champion at the same time. I don't know the last time. Like, it's a good trivia question. I don't know the last time we've had undisputed light heavyweight and heavyweight at the same time since we've been in the 2, 3, 4 bout era. So it's a good trivia question, but hopefully both fights happen, right? Because you never know with Fury and Usyk. You just never know what's going to happen.
I've known to get hurt too at times, you know. They whatever it is, you just never know with any fighter for what it's worth, you know, until it happens. But if they're both signed, they're both ready, they're selling tickets, let's go, you know.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna maybe I'll have I'm gonna have to look that up. The last time there was an undisputed at 75 and heavyweight. That's a good thing for the sport. And those are fights that people want to see. That's all we want, Mad Chad. Like, you and I, like,
boxing,
that's all we want, man. We want good fights.
We want good fights. Fighters. We get to see Iron Mike coming back, I heard. Word on the street, George. But honestly, more people are talking about that than any fight. Honestly, I just did a test. I got a haircut there a while ago, right? There was a bunch of guys in there, right? Yeah, I went to a kind of hip barber shop, right? Sitting there. $35 for a fucking haircut. But anyways, I just started talking boxing. I said, so does anybody know any boxers? And I fucking sit there, yeah, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. That's it. That's basically it.
Right.
But Tyson's coming back, George, and I hear a lot of people saying he's going to kill this guy, and I hope he does. I hope he wins. I hope he does. But how he's going on 60, it doesn't make sense. I don't know, George. What's your take on that? Is it happening? Where are we? What world are we living in? Tyson's fighting?
It's the world of the bizarre. You know what? I know a guy who works for Netflix, who I used to work with at HBO. He's pretty high up at Netflix, and he sent me a text the day they announced the fight. He sent me a text with the trailer that came out that morning. So I didn't speak to him on the phone. I just texted him. I saw the trailer, and I noticed that they called it an event. And I asked him, these are text messages. I said, is this a fight or an event? And he said a little bit of both, but I don't think boxing fans are going to like this, LOL. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I can't really say. He said that they want to stack the undercard, whatever that means. But then the last thing I asked him was, okay, is Mike Tyson going to be throwing punches to try to hurt Jake Paul? Is this going to be real? And his answer was, that's the hope with Mike. So it's not an exhibition, at least not yet, not officially. It's not a fight. I know there's rumors going around. It's not a fight. It's not an exhibition. It's an event. You know what? What Netflix is doing is they're winning because people are talking, and it's not a they're winning. They are winning. They're trying to get people to subscribe to Netflix. So I don't know what it costs. I mean, I have a Netflix. It's $20. So it's not a pay-per-view. They are winning because people, you see it like I do. People are saying Tyson's going to knock him out. No, Jake Paul is going to knock him out. People are talking about this like it's a real fight. It's not. It's an event. It's an event.
Tech Dumb Dad says it don't make sense, but it makes dollars. That's so true. It just does. But still, though, it's just unreal. But it's still relevant, George, to think about it, how big of a star he is. I mean, he's still, I think, the most probably popular fighter in America.
Of course. It's the nostalgia. I mean, I grew up with Tyson. Tyson's only a few years older than me. So Netflix, this is a business to make money. Netflix is winning because they fooled people, and people think this is going to be a real fight. Mike Tyson, I don't think he could pass any drug test anywhere. You know, just based on watching hot boxing, he smokes weed every single day. I think he still is, although I think I read he wasn't. He's 56, 57, 50. I don't know what he is, 57.
He's a hippie. He's still a tough dude, but you know,
no doubt,
it's still as tough as nails. But you know,
no doubt.
Just you know, but they're selling it as that. Like people are talking about a fight, like it's WWE. I want to say, right? Very well scripted. I believe this will be. It'll be an event. Could be some knockdowns, maybe just to sell the shit out of it, right? Have a rematch if the tickets. This whole time bar owner George, right? Had this punk bar. It was called Geno's here in Portland, Maine. The oldest rock club in Portland, Maine, called Geno's. It was on Brown Street, the original Geno's. The guy was from Yonkers, New York, owned Standard Bred Horses. He used to have punk bands in there, but when I'd go in there, he'd throw good music on, some Waylon and Willie, and play some Stones and blues and shit. And I go, Jesus, Gino. I go, how the fuck you have all these punk rock fucking bands in here? He goes, I don't give a fuck what they're playing on stage as long as I'm playing Mozart on the fucking cash register.
Exactly.
He said it just like that. This guy was sharp as fucking nails, honestly. You have these tips from his horses. He'd say, I'm ready tonight. Go to the fucking track. He's 30-1. I'm like, Jesus, this is fucking robbery. But fucking shout out to Gino D'Alessandro. Gino's Rock. It's on Congress Street now, but that was, kind of like what they're doing with anything. Put the shit show on if it's going to sell.
And shout out to Netflix because they are winning. Like you said, people are talking. People are talking like it's a real fight because there's nostalgia with Tyson. And Jake Paul's got a big, there's a lot of people that like Jake Paul or know who he is. So Netflix pulled it off. Now, who knows if it's going to happen April, May, June. We got 3 months. So anything can happen. Tyson's almost 60. So anything fight could happen. I mean, he's a guy who said he had a broken back before in a fight. So anything can happen before they get in the ring. But they are winning, man, because people are forgetting that it's an event. It's billed as an event, not a fight. People are forgetting. They're forgetting, and they're talking, and they want to see it. They want to see what if Tyson lands a shot? What if man, they are winning, dude. They're winning.
Look at him hit the bag. Did you see that training video of him? Do you see how good he looks? I'm like, that's hitting the bag, and that's for 5 seconds. He had to take a ice bath and everything from that little flurry.
You're
Maybe
right.
not, but you know,
they edit those things. They edit those things too, and
speed them up a little.
you talk about training. I was in Arturo Gotti's camp for the last fight, one of the last fights of his career, and watching him train. I remember I was with the crew I was with. Sometimes there were boxing people, sometimes they weren't, but the crew I was with hadn't done a lot of boxing. They watched him train. They said, "Oh my God, he looks like a monster. Like he can beat anyone."
Right.
You can, and he lost the fight that he was in.
Right.
You can look like a monster on pads or on sparring, depending on who you're sparring, or hitting a heavy bag. You can look like a beast. It doesn't mean that you're going to win your fight. It doesn't.
It doesn't at all, George.
And they're editing Tyson's things, and they're probably speeding them up.
They're winning.
Like you watch Tyson when they come out with these clips. It's literally Tyson throws a shot, they cut to another one. Tyson throws a shot, they cut to another one. They have to do that. He probably takes like 10 minutes in between punches.
A couple bong hits.
Oh man. But Mad Chad, I'm gonna get out of here, brother. Because
good shit, George. Yeah, for sure, brother. This has been fun, man. And keep rocking and rolling. Hashtag it off. You know what I mean, George? Great shit, George. And
I appreciate you, bro. And we'll have to talk again soon.
For sure, brother. Have a great night, George.
All right, bro. You too. Yep.
Thanks.
Mad Chad in the building, man. It's been over an hour. See, it's so easy. I'm so far behind too on these comments. Let's see. We're talking about Tyson and Buster. Buster had a best night when Mike had his worst night. It happens. Sometimes the stars align against you. That is true. And I was devastated when Tyson lost that fight. I mean, I thought in 3 months they'll have a rematch and Tyson will win. And it didn't happen. Yeah, there's those famous stories. You know, there's a guy who I'm going to interview who was a former producer at HBO. And hopefully I get to interview him soon. But he was there in Tokyo, and he was with Tyson. He spent time with Tyson. He spent time with Hector Macho Camacho. All the fighters that I revered and talk about and never spent time with, he spent time with those guys. He told stories with those guys. So hopefully that happens soon. Mike was doomed the day signed with Don King. I hated it. Mike is my favorite fighter of all time. That's a good favorite fighter to have. The kid will be back on the zone, I'm sure, talking about, man, a long time ago when we started this with Tito Mercado. 53 years old since Hagler. I was sold. Yeah, Marvelous Marvin Hagler was a special one. George is a good man. Is that me? Were we talking about another George? I appreciate that if that's me. Get a few more comments and then get out of here. Haney and Ryan both are going to enter the ring at 160, 165. Ryan might actually get stopped. I think he has given Haney extra motivation, and that is bad. Haney is already serious about his craft. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Jay Rich, wow, I'm an hour late. Thanks, you two, for not sending the notification. Well, to be fair, I only posted it a half an hour before. So, Jay, you're here, bro. You're here, and we're talking boxing, and I'm about to end this. Teamwork makes the dream work. Fearless business, just like fighting, working smarter. Man, I'm trying to catch up to all these. Undisputed light heavyweight fight. Perfect matchup. Bivol and Bitterve, a dream fight. Iceman Scully, John Scully, who is the assistant trainer to Beterbiev. I spoke with him a few days ago. And I think on Monday, I'm going to be talking to him. He's already in camp in Canada with Arthur, training for that fight. So if you don't know who John Scully is, look him up. He's a former fighter, really good fighter, excellent trainer, an excellent interview. Foreman and Bob Foster. A lot of epic fights this year and next year. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. I don't know how many likes there are because I'm not looking at this on YouTube. But I've noticed that shows get a lot of views, but not a lot of likes. And I don't understand that. I don't understand algorithms. Jay, I think Arthur breaks Bivol down late, stops him 9 through 11, but I think it really depends on the ring size. Given enough room, Bivol could stay away and outbox him for 12 rounds. Tall order, though, I agree. I'm picking Arthur all day. And you see Canelo says he doesn't want Benavidez. He wants the winner of this fight. We'll see what happens. Also, we haven't talked about this, but David Morrell is supposedly moving up to fight Hot Rod Kalajic. Jay, I'm so torn on the Usyk Fury fight. Originally at Fury, fight was announced. I was swayed on Usyk. Fight gets pushed back. Now I'm leaning towards Fury. I'm torn. Me too. But I'm going Usyk. But don't put any money on my bet because I am notorious for not picking the right way. William, old school. What's up, brother? Salute to you. Mike Tyson, first round KO like the old days. You know what? Oh, man. I don't know what to say. I would love to get my friend who will go nameless, but he and I produced we produced the 24/7 on the Cotto Margarito 2, the rematch. We both produced that, which was, to me, the best 24/7 besides the first two. Netflix is winning. They are winning. They want to get subscribers. They're going to get subscribers because people are talking about this like it's a fight. It's an event. If Fury's training hard, he'll make Usyk look silly. We will see. We will see. Fury Wilder brought back heavyweight boxing. Yep. They had a very interesting trilogy. Yes. Smash the like button. Get the word out. Tech is helping me because I'm trying to I'm just trying to be something. I'm a contender. I'm like the older. I'm the guy who turned pro late. I'm trying to make a career of this, so I'm hoping that it becomes something. George Jakovic, man, I miss your input on ProBox TV. My guy, I had a great time. I had a great time working with the people I work with. Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi, Tim Bradley, Sean Porter, Teddy Atlas. I'll leave it at that. I had a great time working with those guys. What I did was make ProBox better while I was there. Gave it my heart, worked seven days a week. It wasn't even work. It was a passion. This is a passion play, and it wasn't work. Things turned out the way they turned out. I would say it's business, but to me, it's not business. It's bad business. We'll leave it at that. At this point, why not put Bo versus... Exactly. That's what we're coming to. That's what we're coming to, except with Tyson, you're talking about a guy who still retains his popularity. He's going to have that popularity until the day he no longer is on this earth. He's got an aura around him. If you ask casuals or people who don't know boxing to name boxers, I bet you Ali and Tyson are the first two that they name. That's what I think. Mike hasn't been smoking weed, according to him. He said his ego is awake. I know that's what he said, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm 53. I'll fight Jake and Logan the same night. Tyson hurts him within 1-2 rounds if there isn't no. Well, that's the thing, though. And granted, it's an event. This thing is an event. Yeah, little foul language there, you know. And the granted, all right, well, hey, I would too. Who's the ref? Well, maybe it's Tony Weeks, and we can spice things up. What happened with you in ProBox? They decided to go in a different direction. That's all I know. I never really had a serious phone call with the people in charge. They wouldn't take my phone call. But so be it. That's the way they want to do business. On their end, it didn't work out. So listen, those guys are my friends, the people I named: Chris, Paulie, Tim, Sean, and Teddy. Those guys are my friends. I wish them well, but I have not watched a show since. All about the GWOP. Very true. It's because the casual fans have departed for real boxing, I'm thinking. But they'll show up and draw for YouTubers and Instagram stars. The boxing business model needs work. Indeed. Indeed. And I'm glad you're here live. I don't do lives very often, but I'm here now, and it's been an hour and a half. I never know how long these things should go. I'm still learning. I mean, I do have a family. My family is making dinner right now. So all right. You know what, William? Can I call you Will? There's no way I can vet that out. You picked Buster to beat Tyson. So were you the kind of guy that just was a Tyson hater and you picked every single guy? Because you could pick 30, I don't know, 36, 37. If you picked like 37 people in a row to beat him and then you got lucky that one time, is that the kind of scenario we're talking about here? Because if you pick Buster to beat Tyson, listen, just imagine if YouTube was around back then, everyone would be laughing at Buster. Everyone would be laughing at Buster, and people giving Buster a shot, you'd be laughed off shows. The odds were astronomical then. They'd be astronomical now. And that leads to Ryan will catch Devin with that hook. You know something? I had a weird feeling that Rolly was going to catch Pitbull with a big shot and hurt him, maybe stop him. And he did catch him with one big shot, two big shots, three big shots, and it did nothing. I think Ryan, I'm rooting against Ryan. Ryan has made me root against him. We've talked a lot about that. I think he loses the fight. And the granite. George will be simulcasting on Facebook, TikTok, and setting up Discord too. We will get the word out as soon. I'm ready, bro. I told you, we're emailing each other. I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I know, listen. I have been so appreciative, and I will say the first few days after I was let go by ProBox, I was in the comments, and there were literally hundreds of comments about me, and it went on for a couple of weeks, and I just had to stop going in there because at some point you kind of look desperate. But I appreciate everybody who said positive things about me. I really do, and I appreciate the help. I need the help. It's much appreciated. Daniel Moretti, there's a new name. Miss you fixing the sparring sessions. Seriously, George, you are best and missed. Yeah. Sparring sessions was a fun show, and I had a lot to do with that show. I picked the topics and was the ref and the judge, and supposedly ProBox is going to keep doing that show. I don't know with who. It won't be the same. People might say it's better or worse. It won't be the same because Chris and Paulie and I had a friendship built up, and those were good shows. But I think we can do something. I think we can do something on here. We can maybe not call it that, but we'll have some people on here. All it is, it's a tried and true format of debating. It's debating topics in sports and debating boxing. And we might not call it sparring session, but I think we're going to do it here. George, get at me and trying to help you. They're all good friends of yours. That's above their pay grade. Get in touch with me. I'm down. All right. Couple minutes, I'm out of here. I knew Buster was skilled but lazy, and I knew that his mother was dying. And I thought if there would be one time Buster would be in shape and ready, it would be because of his mother. Well, that was true. That was true. This is a business indeed. And I've learned that several times in my life the hard way. I think you're talking about sparring session, but yeah, definitely a lot of fun. Invite your boxing friends to have fights on the hot topics in boxing, and that's what I plan on doing. It's very easy to do, and yeah, I did fix some of those sparring sessions. Yes, they would come down to the last round, and it would be even, or one guy would be a point out. You have to make it interesting. The great thing about sparring session, it wasn't so much the judging; it was the conversations and the fun. That show was it was pure fun, and that is definitely the show that I was most proud of because, like I said, I came up with the topics and everything. So different guests will give a more broad opinions and takes. I'm going to set that up at some point soon. We're going to have a show. We're going to have a debate show, and that's what we'll do. All right. Still have people in here still talking boxing, and it's much appreciated. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. Subscribe every single day, except weekends. I've been posting. In the granted, if we had iPhones in America in the 80s, 90s, George, this generation would see violence. George, listen, success is the best revenge. Brother, I'm just looking for success, not looking for revenge. But I recognize you. I'm just a guy that loves to talk boxing, and I've been lucky that I've traveled the world and got to tell stories on fighters. I've been in camps, and I want to keep doing it. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, and let's see what happens tomorrow night. I'm expecting Jared Anderson to win by knockout. I think he'll look sensational. Anywhere between 3 and 6, I think the fight is over, and he moves on. Will he become heavyweight champ? I do not know. In the granite, you said you reached out. If I didn't respond, please reach out again because I promise I don't ignore anyone. I don't ignore anyone. Subscribe, like the show. Let's have fun. Let's watch some fights tomorrow. Let's talk soon.